Hey, this is the Baron's daughter, Scrappie Doo. We're here today for the BDRP Supernatural MidDay Show. Let's have some fun.
What an intro. Welcome, everybody. This is your host, your friend, the Baron of all of Bigfoot, D. Dawson. I'm joined today with my daughter and the youngest ever field researcher for monsters, Scrappie Doo.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing?
We got some exciting news. We are going to be going to the Arbuckle Mountains really soon and bringing y'all back evidence of the monsters up there. So, yeah. That and y'all, everybody likes these stories. See, because nobody really likes the monsters no more. They don't want to see anything. They want stories, which is crazy to me. But
Why stories with no proof?
yeah, stories with no proof. I mean, but that's a part of it, though. They like
yeah.
they like to speculate. I guess I don't know what's going on with them, but that nobody really wants to see the monsters. I guess it's not like it was when I first started when you were a kid.
Like, they'd rather just let their mind do the work and
I don't know.
hope. Not necessarily like hope, but think. Like, is there things out there? Which, I mean, like, we know there is.
But why would you want speculation when there doesn't need to be speculation when you can have evidence? That doesn't make sense. See what I mean? Like,
For some people it does, I guess.
well, what do you mean for some people it does?
Some people are just solely based on theories. Like, that's what they believe, or
Well, that doesn't
not
make
really
sense.
trust them.
You
Like-
got to explain that to me because I still don't understand.
like, some people for, like, conspiracies or theories over facts.
Well, conspiracy is what? A plot or where more than one person is conspiring against someone? Look at what Ms. Mueller said. Narratives constructed with words are for more thought-provoking. Yeah, I see
Makes their
that.
brain do more work.
But they're real, though. Like, they're real creatures out there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it
They're
doesn't
getting
make
bold.
sense. Yeah, well, I don't think they're so much getting bold. There's more of them. You know how much of the United States, we talked about this on the show the other night. You know how much of the United States is covered by, or rather, how much land that people occupy in the United States?
Only
If you had to guess.
I think it's only like not 40%. It's more than that, but
You're close, though.
I'd say probably about half overall because you have the Rockies, the Ozarks, and then the Appalachian Mountains and all that.
Well, that and all
then
state
there's-
and national parks and state
Yeah.
land, and we only occupy
protected
human beings only occupy, I think it's 29% of the
Really?
United States. Yeah.
Oh,
You got to think though, like all the population centers are in cities.
Yeah,
like
really
they're-
packed
and
together.
around the cities, you have farmlands and all that kind of stuff.
let's look this up real quick.
I'm pretty sure it's 49% is unoccupied completely. We only live on like 29%. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, like and out of that 49%, vastly more than half of that, I think like 80% of it hasn't even been surveyed by foot. Do you know that?
One more time.
All right, we got 49% of the United States that's unoccupied completely by people.
Yeah.
Out of that 49%, 80 some odd percent of that has not been like, yeah, it hasn't. Well, it's not been surveyed by foot. It's had like
Yeah.
explorers that were forced to go through there and stuff.
So, like, put in perspective, like, all the continents used to be together at one point in time. And so, if you look at the mountain ranges across the world, they'll line up. And so, think about how much is in there that's never come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
47% of the country is unoccupied.
What I say, 49?
Yeah.
I'm a savage. With the 2% carriage, that's a savage right
That's from the 2010 U.S. Census, though.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, so I could be right, 49%.
Mm-hmm.
But people are, I don't know. People seem to be moving more from cities back to rural areas.
Trying to go off grid again.
Yeah,
Some
I mean,
people
I'd be going
grid.
off grid if I lived in
I'd
Seattle
love
or
to do it.
Philadelphia or Portland, Oregon.
I wouldn't want to live in a city. Go and visit maybe, but I wouldn't want to live there.
We recorded yesterday for you guys. Today, y'all are going to be very excited. We recorded a lot of the insiders, these people that work at national parks and stuff, in preparation to the finale of the series about the unnamed cryptid hunter that worked for the CIA and the executive branch of the government, as well as the Department of the Interior, the cryptid hunters. So that'd be pretty cool. Y'all might like that. But yeah, it's just crazy to me that nobody really wants to see the creatures anymore. I don't know if they ever have.
They'd rather be in the dark about that sort of thing. I guess they don't want to.
Then why does everybody listen to the stories? You know what I'm saying? That's madness. It doesn't make sense at all. Going back smoking a pipe sucks. I should have got cigarettes or cigars. So who's all with us? Ms. Deborah Mueller, Zephaniah 3421.
Jeffrey Reynolds says he wants to see the monsters.
Jeff Reynolds wants to see him? Yeah, he's going to actually come down here. He's coming down to Oklahoma. He's from Massachusetts. Ooh. He's our cousin from Boston. And he's going to come down and go to Brown Springs. Should be a good old time. I want to go to
Brown Springs again. It's been forever.
We went. It was a gentleman named Brandon and myself. And it was the first time I'd been there at night, and I don't know how long, but like one ran through a tree. It ran across that big field when you first come in, to your right.
Yeah.
And ran across that one road that L's off going back towards the west. Because see, like you go down that road, and that's going east. And then you turn back south, and there's the river where the area is. Mm-hmm. And then when you go down that road, you know that big open field?
Like about a mile in?
No, it's not like just give them exact location. Oh, well, but yeah, like it's
like farther back there. Oh.
Where our area was, and that big field. Like as you're going into the area, we're there at night, and it ran across that field, and ran through a tree that was down. Like it was a tree that fell, and it was sitting on another one. Mm-hmm. It like ran through, and it sounded like the tree exploded. They got a little bit too excited for my taste. Mm-hmm. So tell them about like your experience down there. We got a lot of new subscribers. They don't know all of our misadventures down in. Can everybody hear us okay? Because we'll get to the end of the show and they'll be like, "Oh, we couldn't hear anything." Is that everybody? Can everybody hear fine? Possibly, maybe. Sound good?
Hope so.
Drop a 1 if you can hear okay. Yeah, I hope so too.
I wonder.
I'm telling you, I've been in 15 minutes into a show and they say, "Oh, well, we can't hear you."
Well, shoot.
All right, there we go. Tim knows what he's talking about. He's in jolly old England. If he can hear us, everybody can.
Let me think. I'm trying to remember like my first time going in there. Was it just me and you the first time you had taken me?
No, the first time was when all those mosquitoes and stuff were biting me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there was you talk directly into.
It wasn't Halloween. It was a couple months before that. Yeah.
It was right around Halloween. I just thought of that. It was around.
It was probably, no, it was like right before school started, wasn't it?
Well, school starts before Halloween.
Well, yeah. I don't remember. It was sometime in fall, and we go in, and like a wall of mosquitoes and stink hit us as we were walking through. And I'm not getting ate up, but Dad was. And he's
there
like,
was blood on the back of my shirt.
Oof.
All those. It was like a wall of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
They're right there too. That's where they were.
And then there was like in that area, it looked like a little nursery, almost like there was a swing made out of like big trees, and they had hung it from this one branch. And
do you really think that was a swing? It looked
like a hammock or a bed almost.
Yeah, it did look like a swing.
And there was like beds of like pine cones and like smaller branches, and looked like.
And everything else was swept clean.
Like there wasn't really rocks or logs laying around in the area. And we had taken a camera out that time, I think. And I remember
think that was the time that we all went out there. Remember, like that, like all it just felt weird, and I sent you all back down the trail.
Yeah.
And I stayed there, and that's when the weird shit happened.
I remember one though, we had brought a camera in, and we went back to that little nursery place, and we were back at the house, and we were going through the frames, and it looked like in one of these like little tents, and it was like closer to dark, not completely dark, but the sun was starting to set, and we were going back to these frames, and it looked like a little one.
Oh,
like at the very opening of one of those like little
like the
tent
baby
places.
thing that was out there that was set outside of it. No,
Yeah.
that was a nest. I forgot all about that. So yeah, what she's talking about, it was our second time going out, and it was it was the main nest that was in this, we called it the nursery because that's, for lack of a better word, it seemed like a daycare center. And that's what I believe it was, honestly. And we took a picture of this nest, and like, you could see movement outside of it, and it was a weird feeling, but when we went back, it looked like a straight up little baby that was sitting, this baby in like a little nest outside of this thing. What like, people are calling nest, though, is those, what you call a tent, like what looks like
yeah.
And those, that thing was packed
almost.
Yeah, teepee. And that thing was packed full of those creatures.
And there was like sentries. Like, I'm surprised that they made it like that close.
Well, I mean, they blend in. Like, they could have been like right there on top of us. We wouldn't have noticed.
It's wild.
What do you? All right. Do you think these things are some sort of spirits?
No, I think they're a physical, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Creature?
No, physical. Like, I can touch you. I don't know the
word. Creature. We're creatures.
But now, do I think that they're connected to spirits somehow? I think so.
How do you think they're connected to them?
Well, because, like, the feeling that you get when you walk out there.
Yeah. Like the haunted house feeling?
Like, there's not so much, but, like, kind of eerie, not stressful, but, like, there's almost a heavy feeling that just kind of carpets the area. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's the area itself, though?
It could be also because isn't there a cemetery right up there, isn't there?
Well, technically, that whole area is probably a cemetery, because you think about it, like, with Southern Oklahoma, and it was given to us by our, like, that's where they sent everybody at first. Yeah. Then there was, they're in the Trail of Tears, but then later on.
Off the Trail of Tears.
Yeah, well, we're at the very end of the Trail of Tears, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's where the tears dried up, and they got, but later on there was the treaties, because the Trail of Tears was early on, late 1700s, early 1800s, but then in the late 1800s they have the treaties.
Yeah.
Where they were basically conning them into taking big parcels of land in Oklahoma.
And then there was the land run, and that just screwed everything up.
Yeah, the land lottery.
Yeah.
People waiting in ditches and waylaying folks. So you think it's like a heaviness? It's like a heavy feeling? Because it wasn't always heavy when we went out there.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's definitely just like a presence there that you feel.
Yeah, that heaviness though. That's when everything was weird. Like, I don't know. Because remember, like when the little ones were whistling?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
It was it heavy then?
No, playful, almost. Like, you definitely get more. Can't think of this word. Like, not environment, but the.
I think it's something they bring with them.
Not like aura.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like an aura, like their personal little magnetic field.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I think they bring that with them. Because there was that one time that I don't think y'all seen it, but I did. It looked like a knot on a tree. Here, you can, if you click on it, it'll bring it up so everybody can see it. See?
Says, yep, all connected.
No reason I should.
No reason I should have an alien encounter as well as a dogman encounter in one lifetime.
Yeah, no joke. In the same area. Yeah, and like you can click those and it brings them up. So
okay, I see.
What's up, Lander?
These creatures probably have spiritual attachment. Sounds like the spirit of fear is attached to a lot of them. I wouldn't necessarily say the spirit of fear.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just them. They're intimidating. Because even the little kids, like, they were throwing rocks at us.
Yeah, because he messed up the pattern that he was whistling.
No, that was before. Like, I don't remember if we got back out. Were we about to leave and then got back out after they? Nah, because that was creepy. That shit that they were doing.
Yeah.
We went in and we didn't go in that far, and that was another time that they threw rocks, and I was out there with the boys. But we're about to leave, and it was a good experience from what I remember that time. But we sat in the vehicle, and I was whistling some tune, and they were whistling it back at me, and I messed up the pattern of the tune or something, and then they stopped. There was just silence. That was that one. Like I kept trying to get them to whistle something different.
Yeah.
And that one went, yeah, I don't want to whistle that. That was hilarious. No, it was actually kind of creepy as shit. That was creepy as shit, honestly. But yeah, I was like whistling some simple like, and it was whistling it back to me, and it sounded really, really close.
And Dad goes, "Hey, watch this," and changes it.
Yeah, and I changed it, and I thought it would change with me, but I did it like 3 times, and this one, and there was a couple of them out there doing it, but this one went, yeah.
I do remember one Halloween, we were all dressed up, and we were about to go. Dad was about to take us trick or treating, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to run out here real quick before we go and hit the town?" And we're like, "Yeah." And so we walk in, not very far this time.
Was it at night?
It was right before the sun had set.
Yeah, that's when they boogie.
And I remember I would always kind of wander off, not too far, but like away from the group, and just kind of a couple yards off. Not like out of sight.
Yeah, like a damn fool.
And so they're walking up, and I take like a different trail, but like I can still see them and everything. I'm just a couple of trees over. And I remember
is that when you went through that nest, or when you went through that nest by yourself?
I don't know if that's what it was, but I remember I stepped in poop, like a big old turd, like it massive, like, and it looked like a human turd. And it stunk. Like, I didn't even see it until, like, I stepped in it.
Yeah, it was Andre the Giant.
like a foot in diameter, almost. So it was just there. And I stepped in it, and I keep walking. I smell it, and it stunk bad. And
yeah, it was
like,
gross.
I was like, "Dad, I stepped in something." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I stepped in poop." And he looks at my shoes like, "Yeah." And then, oof.
It looked like it was covered with mud. That was gross.
Like it came up and around my shoes.
And it stunk. Oh my god!
I'm surprised he didn't leave me there.
It did look like human poop, though. It wasn't like, animal pellets, and it wasn't it couldn't have been no human.
It was too big.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, like, I don't know.
There was a lot.
Josh, old Jolly Green. He dropped some heavy duty ones, but I mean, he's 6'6". It's bigger than anything he's ever done. But you're getting mixed. Those were 2 different incidents. Like, the one that we went on the afternoon or evening of Halloween, that's when, like, we were leaving, and for whatever reason, you veered off and went back through the way we came in where those nests were. And you're already halfway through there, and, like, I look back, and there you are cutting through there, and I was like, just hurry up and get through there.
I'm just moseying along. I don't know.
She walks instead of following the leader as somebody's supposed to do, she goes right through their nest for whatever reason. I look back and I see her like V-lining through there because it's an adjacent trail and there's this little hill in between it. So I mean it was madness.
Post Thanksgiving
turn.
I guess I have like no sense of
preservation.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean no, that's crazy. We all have a sense of self-preservation. No sense of self.
I guess
you're a knucklehead is all it is.
I guess I just didn't feel the need to.
No, I've never felt like they were gonna do nothing to us. Not them, at least. Sometimes there was stuff out there going on that I didn't want nothing to do with.
Like, I remember we went back really far one day. I'm pretty sure it was just me, you, and a couple of your buddies, I think, that time. And we had went really far. No, it was me, you, and
Barry Brown, the older guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went pretty. When you saw the copperhead, or the copperhead went between us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did go pretty far that day.
And we had, like, really far back there, and there's, like, this really big clearing back there. And it's weird because there's almost like a canopy. Like, it's really dark in the trees, but then we step out and there's like this big clearing. And I remember, like, right before we reached this clearing, there was like a wall of trees. Yeah. Like almost like a beaver's dam, but it wasn't close enough to the river to be a dam. Like, why was it? It was really tall, like almost.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Like 9-10 feet tall. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that shit was madness. What would, like, they did that? I think that was like a waylay point or something.
Rendezvous or something.
No, I think that was like a waylay point. Like if something were to go past that thing, someone's gonna reach out and I gotcha. Get over here. Yeah, that was stranger danger down that way. How'd you remember that? I forgot all about that.
I don't know.
It did look like a beaver's den. Well, you know, some of these Indian tribes, they say that they're cousins to the beaver. And I think that they dig holes like
burrows?
Like burrows, yeah.
I wouldn't put, like, I believe it.
Because if you think about it, it's soft topsoil down on the river.
Yeah.
And it's hard compacted clay underneath, and it's got all these like fissures from the springs going through them.
Yeah.
So that makes it even easier to dig.
You could dig down in there and make
and then the roots from the trees and stuff on the top hold it together. It's like
make like a little cob house up under there or something.
Yeah. Or waylay points. Or deadfall traps.
Yeah. Imagine. Oh my goodness.
I don't want to imagine. Imagine stepping on one and getting drugged down under there.
Oh my.
That'd be. I'd be the last person they'd ever drag down there.
He'd be walking or something, and I'd fall underneath. Where'd TT go? Oh snap.
Yeah, but see though, I think that's why people don't want to see evidence. Nobody wants to think about that kind of stuff. That if you step on like some sort of be some Super Mario stuff. Boom. No game over though.
Oof.
So yeah, we're gonna go to the Arbuckles next month. So if you'd like to contribute towards that end, you may do so using the link in the description box or the one in the chat with you. The first only ever that I'm aware of, father-daughter investigation team this side of heaven. And even if there was another one, we'd still beat them. We're the best. Best even in China. You know how many people are in China? What else? What else was there? There was
Okay. Or I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're on a show. What are you doing? She's just dying to go see Oppenheimer. She's interrupting our show to show me times to go.
Can you blame me?
Yeah, I can blame you.
Man,
it's rude. It's rude to Fisher of Spam and Not Yours and Tim Parker Chambers, and last but not least, me. You know, I think I found out why those mosquitoes though. When we walked in those wall of mosquitoes while they were attacking me, because I got O negative blood.
Yeah.
There's something about O negative blood that like
he could eat all the onions in the world and they'd still go and attack him.
Onions are awesome. This dog just opened his bag of chips.
Oh, no.
Dummy.
Ow.
So you folks got any questions for us? You have the youngest field investigators of all time. I don't know about that, but she was pretty young when she went out there. What were you, like 9?
8, 9, up to 12.
Yep. And I, of course, was the pinnacle of youth. I don't think I can hike that far back there anymore.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to start.
Go get a camping chair and just sit out there, post up with the camera.
No,
and then
I'm not gonna post up nowhere. If I go in there, you got to go in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. That's a method too, though, because they'll come to you. People make out like they got to go on these Indiana Jones adventures to get close to these things. We just go in and park, and walk like within 100 yards most of the time.
I'm glad he has a sense of direction because I don't. I'd get lost back there by myself.
I don't know. It's just the axes that set in me. I'd never get lost in there or anywhere else for that matter. But that's the thing. That's like a thing though. You're the science whiz. You didn't know that men have more. What is it? Iron, some sort of metal in our nose.
Huh?
Than women do, for real. Just like birds. So our literal sense of directions is better than females.
Tell me you can just.
I don't think it has anything to do with smell. But it just, it's, the magnetic lines and fields and whatnot.
Yeah.
That, and I think that's what's going on out there with those feelings. Like, the same, the electromagnetic field.
Back there.
Yep. Because when you have these heavy electromagnetic areas, like...
and the Earth has its own, pulse.
Yeah, it does. So. And I think we're set at that same frequency, right?
No, not everyone vibrates at the same frequency.
So only some people vibrate at the frequency of the Earth?
Yeah.
And I think I'm one of them.
And also, that's why you connect with nature. Like, people who vibrate at higher frequency, they're going to connect with nature more than someone else would. And also, walking around barefoot is, amazing. It's really great for your health and for your psyche, I would say. But
I don't walk around barefoot, though. So how am I so close to nature?
Because shoes disconnect you from the Earth's
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But you were saying how I'm so close to nature because of my frequency.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people tell me to walk out there barefoot before. But
You
then
probably get a whole different feel.
I'll probably become one of them. I'll probably transform into one of them.
St. Teen Wolf.
I can't a Teen Wolf. I can't walk around barefooted. I'm tenderfoot.
Bummer.
So you think that's why some people like? Because I just know where they are when I go out there. Well, you see me do a lot of supernatural stuff though.
Mm-hmm.
Like tell them about some of the weird supernatural things. Like,
I'm gonna tell them about this one time. Oh,
all
so
right.
Dad used to work night shift at a warehouse, Dollar General warehouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh, my eye's twitching. And I would sleep with my door open. And so the way our house was set up at the time, you'd walk in the front door and there was the living room, and off to the back of the house there was the kitchen, and there was this little hallway in between the living room and the kitchen. And my room was the first door on the right in the hallway. Across from the hall was the bathroom, and then at the very back of the hallway on the left was my dad's room, and on the right next to mine was the boys' room. And I would sleep with my door open until Dad got home, and he would come and shut it. I was like 9, I want to say, and I was having like really crazy dreams at this time. And I remember it was really late at night, and I wake up and I look up out my door, and there was also this closet like in between at the very end of the hallway. Yeah.
I think that closet was a portal. That's where all that weird stuff started. I'm sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
No, it's okay. It kind of ties in. And so I look up, and right in front of the door, facing outwards, down the hallway, there's like this tall black figure. And at first I'm younger, so like I didn't connect the dots. And I'm like, is that my dad? So I'm like, I yell a little. I'm like, Daddy, hey, Dad. And he just didn't answer. And I'm like, maybe, like, I thought he was like looking down at his phone, but then I realized there's no shine on his face from what would be his phone.
And then facing that closet?
No, it was facing out towards the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but like it had its head down. Like that's how the silhouette looked. And like as I realized, like he's not looking down at his phone, or else there'd be shine on his face, and he would have looked up and heard me. And I was like, Dad. And then it looked up, and its eyes, I don't remember if it was white or red, but I remember all I saw was like, all I remember is I saw its eyes. And I freaked because like that's not my dad. And I realized like this thing was like slimmer and taller than my dad. So like mistake number 1, I threw the blankets over my head, and then I peek and it's in my doorway.
Oh shit.
And then I threw the blankets back over my head, hoping it would just go away. And then it was in my face, like right at the side of my bed. And I'm like, no, go away.
This
and
is
then
this house where we had this poltergeist experience. I told him about that.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm done. I put the blankets back over my head for some reason instead of like, ugh. And then it was at the foot of my bed. I remember I'm sitting here trying to go to sleep, and I feel like tingles on my feet and my legs, like crawling up. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna sit here and try to ignore this and go to sleep. And eventually it went away. The feeling went away. So yeah, there was that time.
What to do now? I was talking about like some of the supernatural stuff you see me do, but I forgot all about that scary nonsense. You know what to do now, though, right? In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, you get some yonder. Get out of here, beat it, creep.
It's another one. I remember
my boy was bouncing basketball against that house, and I wasn't nowhere around, and I could tell him exactly what he did.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's deductive reasoning or... I mean, I could see it, though. Actually, so...
Some of my experiences, anyway. I remember the boys used to be, like, really into creepypastas and stuff. And, like Jeff the Killer, and, like, there was this one called Suicide Squidward. That one really messed with me. And they were watching that in the living room one day, and I was like, man, I have school in the morning, and so I go take a shower. And I forgot a towel, I remember, and I was yelling for Nicole. Yeah. And she comes in, she gives me the towel. And then as she's leaving and shuts the door, I see a shadow on the wall from the shower curtain, and it looked like something was peeking up over it on the wall. And so I whipped my head around to look, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like,
I was furious.
I had a whole like panic attack in the shower, like freaking out because I thought that something looked over the shower curtain, but there was nothing there. And then it really just went downhill from there. Like, I was having nightmares, and like, I remember this one nightmare that I had had. There was a whole lot of stuff, and I remember vividly.
That you pulled into.
Oh my goodness! Oh yeah. There was this one time. It was me, Dad, and Mom. We were on our way to Dallas for Thanksgiving to go see his sister. But it was really late at night, and so we ended up not going. And Dad had taken a wrong turn, and he kept driving down this road instead of hitting the highway, and he takes us left, and there's like this white building, and he pulls up, and I get this heavy feeling.
Yeah, I mean, all three of us, like, this was recently. All three of us, like, it was just heavy. It was evil. That place was evil.
I'm in the backseat. I'm gonna follow up on this because, and I'm in the back seat, and Dad's like looking, and I'm getting this really heavy feeling, like clawing almost. I'm like, Dad, can we get out of here? Like, we gotta go. This is not good. Like, let's scram. And he was like, yeah, I'm feeling it too. I'm like starting to freak out in the back, and so finally he turns around. We go back home, and a couple of months ago, I was riding around with my friend. And we were hitting these back roads, and we didn't get lost because she knows her way, but and we were just driving around, and we go down that road, and I didn't even see it whenever we went down, but we keep driving down that road, and there's like an oil rig and an oil reserve at the very end of that road. And so she was like, hey, let's turn around. I'm like, okay. So we turn around, and I see that building, and I didn't even realize where we were. Like, we were at that intersection, and I was like, hold up. Stop for a second. And I didn't get this feeling because it was daytime, I guess, but and I'm looking, it was a Freemason church.
What do you mean a Freemason church?
Yes, it had the Freemason sign on the front of it.
Then that means it was probably just like one of their
There's 3 or 4 here in town.
There's 2.
There's one on Commerce. There's one by by Charles Evans, I'm pretty sure it is. And
hey, look at that lady. She says DW. I'm not DW, ma'am. I'm D-Dog. But I thank you. I appreciate it. Work for DW, but I'm not DW. I take that as a high-end compliment, though. But in any event, so the same place, and she said the reason I was like, folks, I don't know how to explain it. Y'all know me well enough to know I'm one with the Force. And that place just seemed familiar, and the more I looked at it, the more I could see, and it just seemed evil.
I had a dream one time about this road, and Dad wasn't in this dream. It was me, the boys, and Nicole. And I remember I'm driving down this road, and then suddenly I'm not in the car and I'm walking, and there's this house, that church or whatever, and I go a little bit farther down, and I walk into the house, and the boys are like, hey, there's this witch down the road, and
Nicole's an ex-girlfriend, by the way.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I'm just giving them context.
And this witch is wanting to talk to him. I'm like, what do you mean, this witch? And anyway, I start walking down this road to go see this witch, because I'm like, man, what does she want? And it's Nicole. Nicole's the witch, and she opens the door to this church. And I'm pretty sure, I don't really remember, and I remember my dreams really well. And then I just got this funky feeling in my dream. I'm like, man, I'm gonna wake up now. And that's just wild to me that like I've had so many like experiences with that building.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy that you saw that building before like we even got there.
Yeah, and like I didn't even know that was back there. Is my thing.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And I grew up. I mean, I've been on that road 1,000 times. I didn't know that was back there. I kind of want to go break in there one time.
Man.
To see what's going on. I just want to see what's going on in there. Something ain't right with that place. I was taught when I was asked that, I was saying the godly supernatural stuff, like not the scary stuff, but I forgot. And now I got the heebie-jeebies.
Once it started to get too much at the house, Dad was like, hey, we're gonna get out of here for a couple of days, and he like blessed the house and put crosses on all the doors and all the entryways. And as he was closing the front door, He'd probably tell it better than I could, but we're trying to get our stuff loaded up into the car, and he's shutting the front door, and he told me that he heard like growling behind him, like there was a pack of dogs behind him. My eyes twitching.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies even talking about it. I forgot. Yeah, but as like when I blessed the house and closed the door, it sounded like growls from a dog. But that night, and I've told them about that, that's when all this supernatural stuff came to a head. And hey, look, North Alabama cryptid Mr. and Mrs. NAC. Hello. Never heard of you before, but welcome to the BDRP Supernatural Midday Show. They're a Mr. and Mrs. team. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Fisherman, you asked, how's Operation Sermon on the Mountain going? I've not done it yet. I'm waiting on Brother Merle.
Something else.
Oh.
I don't know either.
What is something else? What do you got going?
I'm checking to see that.
But yeah, that was you folks have heard that in my testimony before about that's when shortly before that, that's the night I got everybody out of there. These shadows had manifested down this hallway, and it was the ex Nicole that she was talking about, and we were sitting in there, and like I jump up, and because I see what looks like this dude walking down the hall, and it looked like it was coming from on the kids' room, so I was gonna go kick the shit out of him. But like as soon as I took a step forward towards it, I feel the most penetrating fear that I've ever felt. It makes everything I've experienced out there in the woods look like a joke at a picnic. And I felt it was the devil or demons. I don't know what I felt. I just knew it was evil, and it would kill me.
We would.
And like it was. I remember I grabbed Nicole's arm and like I like as I was dropping to my knees. I dropped so hard to my knees it hurt, and that's when I cried out to the Lord and I said, I don't know what's going on, but Lord, I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this is, Lord, but show me how to protect my family and save me. And I'm yelling this. And as soon as I yell, save me, it's like as faster than you could flip a light switch. And there's no doubt in my mind, Jesus came in the room. And I felt like things that like that. There's a picture of this guy on his knees with his hands raised. And there's Jesus behind him, and Jesus all yoked up like a bodybuilder. And he's ripping chains off of him. That's what it felt like. And that's what I believe the baptism in the Holy Spirit is. Look at my arm, like, straight up, like, stand on it. Hold on. Oh. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. But anyways, yeah. But Marlene Cobb's in Arkansas, out towards where my mom used to stay. But anyways, if you would like to see, and when we go to the Arbuckles, there's lots of there's coverage up there, so we'll be able to do this investigation live. If you'd like to contribute towards that, use the links in the description box below and in the chat with you now. You won't be sad that you did. Well, did anybody have any questions for us? We'll take some questions here at the very end for the last like 10 minutes. But outside of that, and I remember being told about this, the incident in the shower, right? Mm-hmm. And I was working on overnights, like she said, and I went through there, and I remember coming home. I got inside the shower, I closed the curtain, and I'm like, investigate any kind of way that would look like somebody's looking over, because I was eliminating everything before I went on a warpath. And there was no way that I could see where it would look like somebody, like, think about it, folks. I'm right at 6 feet tall. The shower curtain's just a little bit taller than where I am. You're gonna be a big, tall dude to look over a shower curtain.
It's crazy to me though, because like, who would be in there? One, and two, it was right as she was closing the door, like as she left.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what I think it was? I think you were targeted because you're my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with that. Like, everything that starts in the or everything that ends up in the natural starts in the spirit. I think that they knew that incident that was going to happen with those shadow people that were walking down the hall when I got us out of there. And like, you don't know, but I paid like $1,000 for those sweets.
I believe it.
Those are sweets. Yeah,
I believe it. There was rooms connected rooms.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, big breakfast. What I look like, Joy Bananas.
Also about the hallway, like we would take random pictures, and the boys would like record and stuff, and Dad would be like, whenever we'd get in trouble, he'd go through our stuff or whatever, and I remember he was like,
you remember that?
Yeah.
It was all. Did I ever tell you about that? What was
like
in those
whenever
pictures?
you would look in the pictures and there'd be like orbs and faces and stuff that would show up because it'd be dark in the house, and he would take random pictures on his phone and stuff too.
Yeah, after that I did.
And he would see like faces made out in the dark. And also our TVs. I used to hate TVs, like TVs that were off, or like whenever the static, like the gray screen would happen whenever like it would crap out or whatever. I hated it because it sounded like screams or something coming from the static. And that's just like with any TV now. If that happens, I turn it off and walk out.
Do you remember when we were watching those two old ladies?
Yeah.
And I took a picture of the screen, and it looked like Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen. You remember that? I made a video for the old channel of it. Looked like a blue being with his arms out. And I showed them what we were watching. We were watching those two old ladies.
Ladies that would sit there and talk crap to each other.
Those sisters, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like a piece of candy, sis? Would you like a piece of candy? Yeah, but it was like you were watching these two old ladies that were sisters. Miss Marlene Cobbs and
Been jacked.
she's talking to North Alabama people. Anyways, so I guess there's no questions. Awesome. Thank you, folks, for listening. Thank you for who contributed, and we'll come back on the next show, announce those names because those are going to be the people that are funding this trip. Was there anything else? Anything else we want to tell them?
I don't think so.
Hey, North Alabama Cryptid, shoot me an email at OklahomaDOS, OKLAHOMADOSS @gmail.com, and you can actually come on this side and tell your story.
Love to hear it.
Yep. All right. Awesome. You guys have a blessed day.